Hey guys, it's Alert here, back again with another review, and today we're having a look at the Marvel Legends Walgreens exclusive Mr. Fantastic. Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, now as I said before, today we're having a look at Mr. Fantastic. He is a Walgreens exclusive, and he is the third member of the Fantastic Four we've received from Hasbro in the past 2 years. Last year we got Invisible Woman and Human Torch. This year we're supposed to get Thing as well as Mr. Fantastic, as you see before you. So we'll hopefully round out the team. I actually have a full team, but I did have the benefit of having an older Thing figure to compensate for the lack of Thing that Hasbro has yet to give us. But it was revealed at Toy Fair we're supposed to be getting Thing, and eventually Silver Surfer. I'm not sure if he's supposed to come out this year as well. We did get Medusa last year at the tail end of the year. I did do a review on that figure way back in January, February, I believe. So we did get a Medusa figure. So there were 3 exclusives in total last year. I would not be surprised if we do get 3 more this year, the first of which being Mr. Fantastic. So, taking a break from the Lizard Wave for just a moment, anyways. I'm not sure if I got more at this point or not, because I am filming this video way in advance, but that's besides the point. Let's get into Mr. Fantastic's accessories. And taking a closer look at Mr. Fantastic's accessories, we have the Ultimate Nullifier here. You can see that it's got all kinds of little bits and bobs on it. Be careful getting into his hand, this little antenna. This one in particular, you don't want to snap that thing because it's really, really small. But yeah, I tend to display him with this actually. And how you get it in his hand here, it's got a specific hand molded to hold that accessory, so you just plop it on in. It's a little bit easier to do now since I've had him holding it for about 24 hours. So, at least at this point. But there you can see him holding that. And then he also comes with 2 sets of arms. The pair he's got on him now, which are just basic arms we'll look at in a minute. And he also comes with these long, bendy arms. They got a hinge here. And then they got some bendy wires so you can warp and bend them into place. They appear to be molded in 2 shades of rubber there. You got the light blue and then you get the black. I guess 2 colors, not 2 shades. But yeah, you can see the little pinholes throughout the arm. I'd say the wrist, would you call that a wrist? I don't know. The wrist area right about here, and then the elbow right about there is probably your safest place to bend them. You don't want to snap these things. But yeah, they got the peg there, so they can just plug into his shoulders, and we'll look at that in a moment. And of course, he does come with one for the opposite side. You can bend it back into place. It's pretty straightforward stuff. They are a little tough to move at first, but I guess if you wanted to, you could heat them up a little bit, get them a little bit more pliable, just so you can mess around with them. But that being said, let's, speaking of which, take a closer look at Mr. Fantastic's articulation. Alrighty, so in the way of Mr. Fantastic's articulation, he is basically a modded Pizza Spidey body. What do I mean by that? Well, first off, he doesn't have the butterfly joints. He doesn't really need them. He's kind of an average build, to be honest with you. Not so much Spider-Man, so he's got a little bit slimmer muscle definition in the torso there. But what he does have is he's got the swivel in the head, as well as a hinge. He's got a bit of a tilt there. I have to say, he looks kind of like Nick Fury without the eye patch. So I guess if you wanted to have a pre-eye patch Nick Fury, you could probably get away with that. His shoulders will move out that far. Back down, full rotation there. Bicep swivel. Double joint at the elbow. He's got a swivel at the wrist with a hinge, and the hands do. Yeah, if you can get them out. They do pop out if you are so inclined to try and find some interchangeable ones. That's kind of a pain in the patoot to get back in there, isn't it? There we go. Sorry about that. But you can also pop them out just like a Build-A-Figure, really. Thank God he wasn't a Build-A-Figure. Wouldn't hear the end of that one, would we? If you get the right side, you can just plug the extended arms in, and there you go. Looking pretty sick there, but we'll just leave those off until final thoughts there. Try and come up with some crazy pose. But there's that. I don't know if I went over the ab crunch, but I'll do it again. Moves that far forward, that far back. Waist swivel. T-jointed hips. Move back down, forward and back. Thigh cut. Double joint at the knee. It's also got a hinge in the foot there. And a rocker joint. So, standard stuff. I mean, what else would you expect from a body like this? Personally, I kind of like him in this pose. So, that'll probably be how I display him. Doesn't take up a whole lot of room, and it looks pretty cool. So, with that being said, let's move on to some size comparisons. Alrighty, and starting off, as usual, here's Reed Richards next to Pete Spidey and Bucky Cap. So, as you can see, he scales nicely with these. He's a little bit... Is he taller than Spidey? He looks a little taller for some reason, but he's probably about the same height. And then, again, that Deadpool is really tall. I may phase him out eventually. We'll see. But, yeah, I'd say he scales nicely with these two. But moving on to some more size comparisons. And here we have Mr. Fantastic next to his, teammates, or family at this point. They are the first family, you know. And on the right, we have the other two offerings from Hasbro in terms of the Fantastic Four team. We got Invisible Woman Sue Storm and Human Torch Johnny Storm. And then on the left, we have Ben Grimm, the Thing. This was, I believe, a really early Toy Biz figure. I did make a modification to mine. I gave him a black belt just so he'd blend in better with these newer ones. I may have to touch that up a bit, but I don't think it came out too bad. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with this setup for the moment. Of course, this thing will get phased out, although I might just hold on to him because he's a pretty cool looking figure. But yeah, the new one definitely looks like it'll be a bit of an improvement. Looks like it'll have more, essential articulation. This one's legs don't even splay out, and he's a little bit on the pre-pose side, so there is that. But with that being said, we've got one more size comparison to move on to, and that is Thanos, the Mad Titan. Yeah, he is way bigger than Reed. He doesn't even fit on screen, but definitely I'd say that's a pretty good size difference there. Had a brain fart. There's a pretty good size difference there. Thanos, of course, is supposed to be bigger. He's bigger than the Thing, so that's pretty cool. I'd say the new Thing figure is probably going to be about that height. Actually, this old one would probably be close to that height if his legs would move in, but sadly they don't. So he is what he is. But I do have a complete team to go up against this guy, so that's pretty cool, right? Well, that being said, let's move on to final thoughts. Alrighty, and coming down with final thoughts, at the end of the day, I don't consider myself the biggest Fantastic Four fan out there. I have to give that to my buddy John Wild, because I wouldn't know half of this stuff without him, and awesome guy, you should go check him out. And this is definitely a set of figures that I think is definitely up his alley, more so than mine, but without the Fantastic Four, they do have some connection to Spider-Man and even Ghost Rider. That was his debut on TV back in the 90s. He penance stared Galactus and flat up whooped his ass, but that's besides the point. I grew up watching these guys. I watched the cartoons from the 60s, 70s, and the 90s, and even the one that didn't do as well in what was it, 2006 or so? It was after the first movie. I watched both the movies. I liked the first one. The second one I didn't like as much, and I probably dislike even more so now because Galactus is not supposed to be a giant cloud. um, but that is besides the point. The point is, this is a really good figure and probably the most fun of the Fantastic Four figures released so far. My favorite members will always be the Thing and Human Torch. I mean, that's just me. I like rock golems and fire, so. And those of you who know me know that type of stuff already. But Mr. Fantastic here just has a lot to offer. He's got the bendy arms, which, to my understanding, are reused from a figure that's about 10 plus years old. Which, you really think Hasbro's going to shell out that much new money? That much money on a new figure? I don't think so. But that's besides the point. The point is, they did a pretty damn good job with this guy. And I'd have to tell you, you should probably pick him up if you see him. Even if he is $20, because some of you lucky buggers got him for 13. I'd say this is a worthy purchase and definitely worth your time. So I'm going to have to give this guy a 9 out of 10. I really like him. Paint's clean. Articulation's fine as usual. Comes with a pretty cool accessory, the Ultimate Nullifier, and the interchangeable parts. Uh, what more? What more do you need? So that being said, hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, or vice versa. And until next time, catch you guys later.